What's up? Honor number 26 here to give you my final Battle 2011 preview and predictions. The show is tomorrow night at 7:30 on GoFightLive.tv. I'll leave the link to where you can buy it in the description box, as well as my link to my Twitter, where I'll actually be attending the show. If you see me, don't hesitate to come up to me. Nice guy, no ego, whatever. But it should be a really, really great show. I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. First show since Best in the World back in June, so it should be a lot of fun. I'm expecting the show to do very, very well. Should be really awesome to see with the new TV audience and how that does. So, I'm expecting the opener to be Unbreakable Michael Elgin versus TJ Perkins. I'm expecting this to be a very, very good opener. Get the crowd hot. Give them about 12 minutes or so. I'm expecting the whole speed versus power thing to come and play really well here. I think their styles would actually make an awesome opener, and I can't wait to see it. And that's where I'd put them. I would have Elgin go over. Perkins, as much as he kind of needs a big profile win Ring of Honor, I don't feel that this is the right time to give it to him. And Elgin is just on his way up. He has a world title shot in his back pocket. He just came off of TV versus Davey. So I think giving him a win here would be great. And then probably next we're going to have Ciampa versus Rave. The former Crown Jewel of the Embassy versus the current Crown Jewel of the Embassy. There's a lot of talk about Tommaso Ciampa kind of being, with this undefeated streak kind of being still a little green and stuff. I don't feel he's green. I feel he is very good. He still is very good on the mic. He has a very great look to him, but he just needs a couple better opponents, and he really hasn't had one of them yet. The only really one he had that I can think of off the top of my head is Adam Cole, and he had a good match against him. So, I think that argument is a little invalid that he's not as good as people say he is. For what he's supposed to do at the moment, he's very good. And then Rave, his history precedes him. This is his first match in Ring of Honor since... trying to think. I know he had a return back in 2009, but then just was kind of dropped simultaneously in that year. I'm trying to think. His last match probably, I'm trying to remember correctly, was Final Countdown towards Chicago, that dog collar match against the Necro Butcher. I don't think he was brought back after that. I don't think either were brought back all that much after that, actually. But especially Rave. Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, but I think Ciampa will be going over here. I don't know if this is a one-shot deal for Rave or not, but I think it might be. So I think Ciampa's going to win. Next, I'm going to have the Tag Team Gauntlet match, All Night Express, Future Shock, the Bravados, Young Bucks, and Coleman and Alexander. They've been doing some interesting stuff with the Bravados, saying how, the Ring of Honor doesn't need losers anymore, but I don't think they're winning this match, so it'll be interesting to see where that goes from there. Coleman Alexander, I don't expect to win at all either. They're impressing me a lot, but this is not the stage for them to get a big win, I don't think. It's between the other three teams, and I'm leaning, Young Bucks on this, only because of how the matches worked. I can see them, making Future Shock and ANX look strong, but giving the Young Bucks the wins and kind of not hurting any of the three teams. So that's where I think they're going to go. I do expect this to be a very, very good match. Have the better teams. Like I expect Future Shock to kind of be in there a while because they can hold down the fort a little bit as that team. And I've seen them work good matches against every single other one of these teams. I don't think Coleman and Alexander have faced them yet, but I imagine it'll be good. But they've done put on good matches against the Young Bucks, Bravados, and ANX before, so should be good to see. And then going into intermission, I probably would have Corino and Steen. Okay. There's a lot of scenarios going into this match. Possible Jimmy Jacobs heel turn. I don't think that's a bad idea. I might hold off on that and make it a slow burn heel turn, not just straight out heel at the show, but I would not be shocked to see that happen. I do think Steen is going over no matter what. And I would be shocked if Steen doesn't kind of get in the world title picture by his ways. I do expect to have this be a very, very good match, though. Maybe kind of this be the killing off of the Corino character. Maybe, I'm not sure. I wouldn't be blinded to see that. Kind of maybe that. I think the Jacobs and the killing off the Corino character thing have to happen simultaneously or together. So one kind of doesn't go without the other in this sense. But a lot of people are talking about Chris Hero and him returning. This is how I would do it, and it does involve this match. With or without Jacobs, Steen kind of gets in the ring alone by himself, Jacob either saying this is your moment and going to the back, or Jacob's kind of helping Corino to the back. Steen kind of gets on the mic, you can't do anything about it now. I'm a roster member. No one in the back has the balls to step up to me. The lights kind of go out or something like that, and then you hear not the KOW theme, but the Hero's old theme that had Holding Out for a Hero in the start of it, and then goes into the theme from Requiem for a Dream. Have you seen that movie? But people know what I'm talking about based off of that. His old theme, or you can do Chris is Awesome, either that theme, and that just starts playing. You see Hero coming out of the ring, and then those two get into a brawl. I think that would be awesome, Both get in the world title picture, but they have completely different ways of doing it. I think would be a great, great program for the two of them. Then we go to intermission. Coming out at intermission, Roderick Strong's Invitational Challenge. Originally, I didn't think this was Nigel here. I'm not exactly sure, because if it was Nigel's return to Ring of Honor, I think that because he is a character now, I think they would want to hype that up a little bit more. So that left a couple choices in my head. And honestly, one I'm going with, I'm going to go with BJ Whitmer's return to Ring of Honor. Because Jacobs is back and they can do something with that. And Whitmer has looked very good. He actually did beat Davey in AIW on a show back in October, and he did look very good in that match. So I would not mind seeing a BJ Whitmer return to Ring of Honor. Some people are thinking it's Willie Mack. And that this could be his first big win. I don't know. I think Strong and Mack have faced in PWG before. I think Mack coming in at the Baltimore taping would be a better role for him, starting off on TV in a crowd that people don't know him, so he can impress right away. Instead of in this environment, I think you're kind of throwing Mack to the wolves in a sense. I don't think this is the best environment for him to debut. So my choice would be BJ Whitmer, but I do expect Strong to go over with whoever it is. So. But because it's Roderick, I do have a little bit of an expectation going into this match. It should be very good. Then we're going to have the three-way for the World TV title. Jay Lethal versus El Generico versus the Prodigy Mike Bennett with Brutal Bob Evans and Maria Kanellis. Yeah, former WWE diva. Man, she looked hot in that final Prodigy video. God damn, she's even hotter when she plays dumb. God, she's so great. Anyway, I have a gut that Mike Bennett's winning here, even though I kind of don't want him to win. But I don't know whether it's because he sucks or because I think he sucks because he's doing a great job as a heel. I don't know which one of the two it is. It's probably a combination of both. And I think if you put Maria with him, he might get a little better. Because one thing she was very good at is playing her character. And if she is that type of character in Ring of Honor, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Something to freshen up Mike Bennett a little bit. It might work. Who knows? One thing that I will never mind about Mike Bennett is, yes, he doesn't wrestle the pure Ring of Honor style, but the style he does wrestle is very safe, and he won't injure anyone. So I'm glad about that. But it would not surprise me to see Jay Lethal also retain here. I don't think Generico is going to win. I think putting the TV title back on him is not a good I just don't see it happening. I don't know why. All right. It should be a good match, though. Then we get the two matches that have kind of been built. Well, the one that has the longest build to it, in my opinion, the World Tag Team title match. We have Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas, World's Greatest Tag Team versus the Briscoe brothers. Briscoes need to go over here. Briscoes need to get these belts off of World's Greatest Tag Team. Briscoes have been, in my opinion, the MVPs of Ring of Honor this year, especially in the last 6 months. I mean, they have been kicking so much ass. And getting stale as champions is kind of hard to do in a company like Ring of Honor, but especially with the tag team titles, Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas have done that, and I don't think we've ever been in a position for this to happen so far, because the tag team title reigns are not ones that usually are logged. The world title ones are, but the world tag team titles usually aren't. But the ones that have been long, the Briscoes in the past and the Kings of Wrestling reign, never got stale because they were such great champions. Benjamin and Haas are not in that niche, and we need to get those belts off them and repackage them somehow. I do expect this match to be good, however. But I just see the Briscoes, even though they are heels, maybe being faces with this New York crowd. Even though the Briscoes kind of have been booed as faces in the past, I just see the Briscoes winning here. And then setting up, I guess, for a match with the Young Bucks based off of what I predicted. So there's that. And by the way, if you have not seen the Jay Briscoe promo from today, or there was a Briscoe promo today, it was fucking awesome. Go to Ring of Honor's page and look at it. As well as they just posted a video wire a couple seconds ago, so check that out as well. And then we have the world title match. Richards Richards versus Edwards 3. I was live for Richards versus Edwards 2. That was 5 stars, second best match this year. This match, I don't know if it'll top it, but it'll be damn close if nothing else. Of course, Richards will be accompanied by O'Reilly and Kozina at ringside, and then Dan Severn. It's been interesting to see where Truth Martini puts his head in here, because I've been noticing it, and it's just, why is he, involved in this storyline? It's got to all connect somehow, and especially after the promo Davey cut today, it clicked in my head. I do think Eddie is joining the House of Truth. Whether he goes over into, I think he's going to go over. I honestly do. Because it's going to be interesting. The whole rematch thing in Ring of Honor has never really happened. Eddie I think for how good Eddie is, he never got his fair chance as champion, and if Davey hadn't gone over, people would have not cared anymore about Davey in the last time. So I think giving the belt back to Eddie might be a good option here, and it can honestly set the road for Richards Edwards 4 if you would need it in about 8 months or so, or something like that. But honestly, I think, having an awesome match, post-match segment, somehow Eddie turns on Davey, and he joins the House of Truth. Maybe getting Strong kicked out somehow or something. I don't know. Who knows? But I honestly, that's what I think is going to happen. It is a little bit of a long shot, but because you want ending your biggest show of the year to be a heel turn is kind of iffy. Who knows? But I think if you pull it off, especially with this type of angle, especially with Dan Severn also being involved, maybe, having him being involved and kind of turning on Severn too, like he used him just for training, like he was seeing the truth by it or something, and then Severn goes back to Richards or something like that. I think that would be a great scenario. So, all right, tell me what you guys think about this. Hopefully you guys order the show. I'll leave the link to where you can buy it. Follow me on Twitter because I'll be posting stuff all day about where I am. And, I'll see you guys later.